Well, we're ready to start the painting on the walls, and we're going to do prime that wall white because we're going to do a zigzag pattern separated into 6 boxes. I'll show you, I already drew it out on AutoCAD and Google SketchUp, and we're going to make a template that's going to be 24 by 18, I believe, and we'll paint a zigzag design in gray and white. So first thing we're going to do is paint the entire wall white. Alright, so we have our wall painted white, and that's going to be the base color of the chevrons, the zigzag pattern. We're going to paint gray stripes. Now, we've watched a bunch of videos, and there's some people that measure each box, draw each line. And then we saw one video where the lady just made a pattern. She determined how big the boxes would be. You make a cardboard pattern and just trace it all the way down, and it looked quick and easy. So that's what we're going to do. We measured the height of 7.5 feet, and we measured the width of 12 feet 2 inches. We're going to divide those by 6. We'll get our box size, cut out a piece of cardboard, and trace it as we go down. We have the old standard bubble level. I have a laser level that will spin around, and I also have this, which will give us a horizontal and vertical line just to make checks at either end, so as we're tracing our boxes along the wall, we don't droop or dip. Okay, we have our pattern. It's this piece of cardboard, and once again, how we got it, our ceiling to floor is 7 feet 6 inches. You divide by 6 and you get 15, and that's what we cut this side. Our wall length is 12 feet 2 inches. You divide by 6, you get 2 feet and 1/3 of an inch. So this is basically 24 and a third of an inch. So that's our pattern. We're going to put it up in the corner like this. We're going to take a piece of chalk and trace around it. Then we'll go down, do that, and we'll keep going all the way down, making a grid. It's just an easier way instead of measuring every single time. And we use the level to make sure we're vertical and horizontal, but this is just a quick, easy way to make sure everything's lined up square. Well, it took a little longer than expected, but the wall is finally marked and taped off. What we first used, like I talked about earlier, was this template. It wasn't super accurate because the chalk we were using, I could only find that thick sidewalk chalk, and it wasn't really accurate. So we ended up using the template at first, and then we used a laser level and a hand level to make sure our lines were even the whole way across. We then marked it with a pencil just to get a more accurate line, and then we taped it off, marking gray, white, just like the pattern. So I'm ready to wash off the chalk now, and then we'll be ready to paint. Another thing I forgot to mention is that we did end up using 2 rulers to make sure our line was straight with the pencil, just to get in and make sure everything was lined up point to point. And the tape we're using is not just regular masking tape, because sometimes the paint can bleed through that edge. So we're using the frog tape, which is supposed to, it's like $7, but it's supposed to give you a nice crisp, clean edge after you paint over it and tear it off. I wiped off all the chalk, and I just thought of a couple other things. First is, when you're drawing the grid, you don't actually have to draw the entire line all the way around the grid. You just have to really draw a cross or a T at your intersection point, because that's where you're going to be connecting your lines to. You don't need this entire line, you just need this point and this point. So you can just make, when you're doing your box, just make a little T. You don't actually have to draw the entire line. You can if you want, we did for a couple.
but it's just more wiping off when you're done. The other thing is the outlet covers and the cold air returns. Luckily, this one's going to be completely gray because it ended up entirely in a triangle. One of the outlet covers is going to be completely white, but one of them we actually had to cross right through, so we left it on the wall and it's going to be half gray and half white. So we were thinking about making them all white to keep them consistent, but we're just going to match the wall as it is.